guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something super freaking exciting, and I'm going to be talking about all the books that I am excited to read for 2024. I am going to be honest, I'm not going to make this a really huge list because it's a huge list, so I'm going to make it just some of the main books that come instantly to my mind, and I actually wrote them down in my little journal, so you might kind of see me looking down at it a lot. But I wanted to talk about some of the books that I for sure want to get done this year, and a lot of them are actually series. So these are just something I'm really excited about, something I've been wanting to embark on for the longest time, and I want to make it a goal this year to get these books done. And I also am not going to go over the synopsis because that's just going to take me forever. So a lot of these books are actually pretty known, and I'm pretty sure you're going to know about the synopsis. I just feel like going over the synopsis just takes me so long. I wanted to kind of just talk about everything that I am for sure wanting to embark this year. Like if I don't, the perfectionist in me is going to be really disappointed because I want to make sure that I get these books done. Also, don't mind my little friend on my face. Yeah, this like is the biggest pimple in my life, and I tried to cover it up as much as I could, and I put like a little pimple patches, but it's just like it's not going away. I've been watching everybody's videos about what they're going to be reading for this year, so I'm just so excited to see what we're going to be reading this year. And I just wanted to share my list, and without further ado, let's get started. Now, a lot of these books I actually don't have physically, I just have the ones prior to it. So the first one I'll be going into is the Inheritance Games. I have been wanting to finish this forever. Ever since reading the first book, I've been wanting to read the other two, and I do have the second book, which is actually right here, which is the Hawthorne Legacy, I think. And I do want to get the Final Gambit, but I told myself I'm going to get it once I finish the Hawthorne Legacy. I did try to read Hawthorne Legacy a while ago, sometime near last year, and I don't know, for some reason I just couldn't get back into it again, so I might have to do a reread of the Inheritance Games and try to get myself re-sparked about what happened from the last book. But I want to finish the series, like I just want to get it done. Also, because I have the second book, I feel like I have to finish it because there's 3 books and it's gonna bother me if I don't get to that third one. So really interested to know what happens. I loved the first one, and I'm just really interested to see what's gonna happen. So yeah, the second one I wanted to talk about is something that actually kind of got me into reading. I mean, I've been into reading, but this is some series that actually kind of started tumbling more into when it started like snowballing into more reading and more. But it's The Touch of Darkness. These books aren't the most amazing books, like they're not the most amazing writing or like the most amazing, but I have to admit, it is kind of like a comfort book to me. It's like one of those like kind of like people find, like some people just kind of find them just like those books where it's like, okay, just don't really go in for it for like the characters or the writing style, but it's just something that you read at a time and you felt comforted. Yeah, the first book is just something that's just always comforted me, I think, because I loved that whole Greek world and the Greek mythology world, and then I became like so fascinated with Persephone and Hades and their love story. Like I even googled all these things about them, and that's just how it kind of like snowballed into everything. But I have been wanting to read this 4th book for the freaking longest time, and I thought she was going to release it last year, but I think it's getting released this year. So I'm not for sure the release date, so I'll just put it up right here. But overall, I'm just so excited to find out what's gonna happen in the 4th book. Yeah, I want to finish it. I actually kind of kept up with those books, and I even read her other one. I just like how she wrote the characters. I'm not a fan of Persephone's character, because the more I kind of read into it and the more I even read other people's comments, I realized she is such a frustrating and kind of annoying character. But I'm still really interested to find out about Hades and Hecate. I freaking love her. I just want to find out about everything about that whole the underworld and everything that's going on. Like I just want to know. So, and the last book was a major cliffhanger, book 3, so I'm really interested to find out what's gonna happen in book 4. The other one is another series that people probably are like, is this great writing? But I've seen people just love and adore these series, and I'm gonna be honest, part of the reason I want to pick up this series is because I love the feel and chunkiness of these books. But I've been wanting to read the Zodiac Academy series for the longest time. I've just heard that comfort books and people just find it to be so easy to read and so easy to fall into, and I feel like that'd be so fun, and I don't know, it just sounds so interesting. And when I saw the book at Barnes & Noble, I honestly kind of fell in love with how it felt. Like I just loved how floppy and like big it was. It just felt like the perfect book to hold. It just seems like those type of like old what is it called, MTV shows like Teen Wolf, Twilight type of things, like where the like old shows and stuff. But I am super interested to read this series. I feel like if everybody loved it before, I feel like I'll like it, and I want to give it a try. And yeah, I know it's a lot, but I've heard a lot of people could just like speed through it. It's just like an easy read, and anything that's like an easy read and keeps them entertained, like why not, you know? The next one I kind of put on here, so I'm iffy about this because I've been going back and forth for quite a while. I have been wanting to read Six of Crows because I've heard so many people like that book so much, but I heard mixed things, so let me know if you guys know. But I heard that you have to read the Shadow and Bone series trilogy to kind of make it more interesting, or kind of make more sense. But I've also heard that you don't have to. I don't know if it's not going to be as interesting because I want to like Six of Crows to the fullest. So I'm like, should I read Shadow and Bone? Because that doesn't sound that interesting to me. If it is going to make Six of Crows even better, then should I just use that time and read it? Because that's what I'm like kind of going back and forth on, and I don't know if I should. But those are the two that I've been really wanting to read. Shadow Bone was something I'm not like as interested, but I am really interested to read like the Six of Crows. And I don't know, I'm having a major brain fart, but the second one, I think there's a second one, but I want to know if it's needed. That's actually something I've been wanting to get done and read. So yeah. Okay, so this one is I found really interesting. It's a natural history of dragons, and I think it's supposed to be like a bibliography type of, or like a journal type of, like a journal entry type of book, like where she, I think, but she kind of observes like dragons and she writes all these entries and everything, and it's about her like voyage embarking on that, like looking into them and stuff. And I've just heard that it's really, really good. I've heard it just sounded intriguing, like really, really intriguing, and I absolutely adore the cover of it. I just love it so much, and I feel like I'm into that type of stuff, like where it's like observation, like more where it's like a journal entry. But that's the type of stuff I would find really interesting. The next one I have been wanting to read for the longest time, and I actually want these books in hardback because I think they're really gorgeous. They're just so minimal but so simple and clean. I've always wanted to read these books by R.F. Kuang. I heard that these are like brutal books, and it's a lot of I think it's like a history fantasy type of read, which I feel like I want to see how I like that. But I feel like I would really like that because I kind of like it when it's more fantasy based, but they still involve somewhat of like a history foundation into it. I have been wanting to read this forever. I've heard that it's so brutal, you can't trust no one, you're gonna get your heart broken, and I've seen people cry reading these, and I really want to read these. I just want to see if it's gonna actually make me cry. It's really hard for me to get like actual emotions and tears out of me from reading a book, so I want to see if it's gonna make me cry. But if not, I still want to read, like, I don't know what it is, like I like all these cutesy little books, but then I also like these, like, not in real life, but definitely not in real life, but like I like reading books that have some type of unexpected brutal twist, to where you're like, you did not expect that, to where you're like, oh my gosh, they really put that in the book, like this actually happened to this character. I was not expecting that, and that's what I'm kind of looking for in books right now. So that's why I really want to pick up this, and I also absolutely love and adore like how the books look, so I'm hoping that I actually like it, so that when I do buy it, it's worth it. And like these are books I actually kind of want to get new because I find them just really pretty. So when I do, I'm excited to embark on that, but I think this is going to be something that's going to be like a heavier read because it's more complex. So I'm probably going to make sure that I kind of just devote a lot of my attention to those books and make sure that my mindset is really fully ready to intake it all. Okay, and this is something that I've been wanting to read like for 5,000 freaking years, and it's The Inferno Devices. I got this in a book haul quite a while ago, sometimes last year, and I was expecting to read it sometime that year of, and I just never did. And I've been wanting to read these for so long. I've heard that they're amazing. People have become obsessed with like this world, and they wanted to find other feelings that this book, that this series, that this trilogy, or these books have given them, and that just makes me so much more interested and devoted to wanting to make sure I get these done, because I want to have that feeling. Like when I first read Harry Potter, I wanted to find books that gave me that Harry Potter feeling, and I want to find other books like that where I'm kind of looking for that feeling somewhere else. Like, I guess honestly the Caraval series, I'm kind of wanting to find that feeling somewhere else. Same thing as like the Cruel Prince. I fell in love with the Cruel Prince series. I'm still set to read the last one, but every time I read the books, I just want to find something else once I'm finished with those books, that provide that same type of feeling, same world, and that's how I know I really like those books. And I've heard that same type of thing from the Infernal Devices. That's why I'm just super excited to pick these up, because I actually have copies of these, and I'm just debating on like the time, because I think I'm just afraid when there's something I've been wanting to read for so long. I'm afraid that like, oh, what if I start it, I'm just not mentally ready, or what if I don't like it as much as I thought I was going to. And that's why I think sometimes I avoid it so much because I'm afraid. But I just have been wanting to pick this up for so long, and I've heard that people love it so much. That's why I have to get this done this year. So this is like a major, like, I have to. If not, I'm gonna go back and look at this video and be super disappointed in myself if I don't read these. I have to read these. Okay, and another one I do want to pick up, and preferably sometime around like spooky season, is Stalking Jack the Ripper. I've heard that these books are so good, and it's something I actually feel like I would find interesting. I kind of like books like those, especially during the spooky season. I like anything that's kind of Victorian. I think it's a Victorian time era, and you know, like that type of music you can play like Dark Academia to. That's the type of books I actually really love and enjoy, and I'm just hoping that I can actually pick these up. I also kind of like how the books look. I don't know, I just love like elaborate dresses, and I just love like the style of it. So I feel like it's gonna be something really interesting, something that's gonna keep me like a little bit on my toes, but where it's like kind of eerie, but also I heard the romance in it is really cute. So I'm just excited to pick it up because it's like an eerie world, but it's also, there's some romance. I don't know, I just like that. I love that stuff. So especially during the spooky season, that's why I'm like excited to pick it up, and I'm gonna make sure I pick up those books this year. And lastly, I'm not proud to admit this, and I also don't know if I'm proud to admit it or to admit that I haven't, but I want to get into the ACOTAR series. I want to read them. I hear about these all the time. I see it everywhere I go. I see these books everywhere. I see people doing rereads of them, and I'm just so set on wanting to read these books. I think the only reason that I'm just turned off by it is because it's to me, that's like a lot for me to embark on. When it's 3 or 4 books, I'm like, okay. But other than Harry Potter, but in general, like, that many books to me it's just such a huge commitment, and I don't know. I do want to read it though, because I've heard so many things about this freaking, and I'm sure you have too. And I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that I haven't read it, but I'm also like, should I be embarrassed to admit that I want to read it? Like, I have to, because it's also like saying like, it's just such a common series that everybody talks about, and it's like, oh yeah, of course you want to read that, you know, like, but I do want to read it. I actually do. I want to see what everybody's talking about. I want to know the references. I want to know this world, and I actually do like Fey World. So yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why I'm also really excited and super interested. And I heard that the romance is just iconic. I don't know if I heard that there's a few books that are kind of slow, but I heard that the romance it is iconic. And if they make actual subscription boxes with these books, I'm assuming that it's like a memorable read. So I'm just really interested to see what everybody's talking about, and I want to actually pick up copies of my own, because every time I go to Target I see these freaking books everywhere. Oh yeah, and graphic novels. So I am not going to go too in depth about the graphic novels because there's just a lot, but I for sure want to get Heartstopper read. I want to read The Moth Keeper. I want to read Bug Boys. I want to read Dragon Tea Society, and I also want to read Beautiful Darkness. I just find these graphic novels to be so cute. I love that type of stuff, like where it's like, I also like little creepy but cutesy things. So I'm just really excited to embark on these, and I want to fit more graphic novels into my reading this year, because I tried to do that last year. I just think that time and life just kind of threw a giant curveball at me, and I kind of put reading on the back burner for a while. But I want to make sure that I include some graphic novels, because I do find illustrations like that to be so gorgeous and so interesting, and I love it. It's just more of a colorful visual. So I'm just really excited to kind of embark on that and include it into my books, because I just feel like also those are just quick and easy reads to where you can finish a book, but you can also actually enjoy it. So that's why I also want to make sure I include it this year, because all these illustrators put so much work into those books, and I want to give them some recognition. I want to actually use my time and read them, and so these are books I really want to embark on. But overall, yeah, those are the books I'm putting this into a video to make sure that I actually get these books done. I know they're not a lot, but I didn't want to go too crazy because I feel like that's gonna be a little too ambitious, because like I said, I'm a giant mood reader and things change. Sometimes my mood gets into different things, but overall these are the books I for sure want to get done within the year, which I don't think is too ambitious. I think the only issue that might be a little bit too ambitious is that a lot of these are like series or trilogies or continuous books, to where it's gonna take me a while. But I think they sound like books that I genuinely would find interesting, which was, of course, they're like a TBR, you're gonna like find them interesting, but there's something that I'm hoping that I will stay committed to, and I will make sure I get them done. But I really just am happy I got to share these books that I really wanted to read for 2024, because they are books that I really want to read this year, and I want to make sure I get them done. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think about these books, but don't spoil them, but just let me know like what you guys think if you have read them, or let me know what you guys are going to be reading this year. I feel like this year I'm not a fan I'm not a fan of the new year, but I am really excited to see what my reading journey holds this year, and I have a good feeling. I just have a feeling. I'm not trying to make it too huge, like too much of an ambitious like type of goal to make like, oh, I'm gonna read 200 books. Like, I'm just trying to find new books that I became obsessed with, and to also find new books in general. Like, and even I kind of want to do a lot of rereads. I want to kind of reread books and see how I really feel about them again, and see how it feels this year. But overall, I'm just so excited to embark on these little journeys. I am happy I kind of compiled a little list, because I find these to be so interesting when you get to look back and see if you actually got them done. And yeah, so let me know what you guys are currently reading. Also, sorry I'm like sitting low now. I was sitting on my feet and my feet are falling asleep, so I might be like a lot lower from where I was at the top of the first part of the video. But let me know what you guys think about these books, and please let me know what you guys are reading this year. I want to know what you guys are going to be embarking on for 2024. I cannot wait to see my thoughts on these and to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye!